Yo, what's going on, guys? Goliath here. Want to go over some 11.5 and 11.6 changes. 11.5 actually just dropped today as I'm making this video. And we also got some 11.6 changes that are in PBE that look kind of interesting. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick, give my input on the changes. And I'm only going to cover the stuff that relates to Urgot in this patch. So let's just jump into it. First up, we got a Jax buff. I'm actually kind of happy about this because I do like this matchup. The two things in this matchup is you want to time your E with his counter strike. Right as you think it's about to go off, you want to E into him. And you also don't want to let him build passive stacks, like especially on waves. If he has passive stacks, you don't want to fight or trade with him. Every time he autos a minion, he'll get a passive stack, or auto you, just every time he autos. So you want to try to fight Jax kind of before he builds that up on minion waves. It's a really important thing in that matchup. But overall, I'm kind of happy with this. This is kind of a scary buff because he is one of the champions that can actually match Urgot, especially in the side lane late game. So giving him a scaling damage buff is actually pretty scary. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I think it's still going to mostly come down to if you time your E with his E correctly. But yeah, I'm kind of happy about this. I do like the Jax matchup. Melee matchups are always nice. I would definitely like to see more melees. But yeah, pretty interesting. Moving on. I don't think anything else really is getting buffed in top lane. Or even like nerfed really. Next up we got Mira mana. This item, I don't know, man. I don't like this item personally. And I think they're making it more focused on like abilities rather than auto attacks and on hit. So I don't think it's worth it personally. It just makes you so squishy, and it's not enough damage. It's just not enough damage for how squishy it makes you. And it's kind of a scaling item. Like, you got to build that tier and stack that up as well. Like, it's just... The few games I've tested out in it really hasn't seemed worth it. Like, I had one game where I was doing so much damage, and I literally had 1 to 2k bonus damage. I had, like, 1.5k bonus damage from Mira Mana, which might seem kind of decent, but in a game where I got it super early and, like, I was doing a lot of damage. Like, it was a really good game. I think I had like 36k damage or something. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this item is bugged, honestly, or if it was bugged when I was using it, because it just does not seem that good to me. Let me know if you guys have had any success with this item. Maybe I'll give another shot at some point. Stride Breaker. I think this is overall a buff. I think it's a buff in certain situations, and I think it's also a nerf in certain situations. But overall for Urgot, you're getting 100 extra range on the dash. So, and the speed is increased. So it's literally just easier to get in range to land your E, which is the big reason for Stride anyway on Urgot. Like, you're not building Stride for the damage. Like, the damage can be nice in some scenarios, I guess. That's why I think it could be a nerf sometimes. But 100 extra dash, man, like, you could use this to escape. You can use this to dodge abilities now. So I think this is overall a buff. The one thing that I don't really know about, though, is I might be doing the Iceborne. I might be doing the Frostfire build more this patch. Just because with the Cleaver buff, which I'll talk about in a sec here. I feel like that build is going to spike a little bit sooner. Because Stride is still 3,300, so it is still kind of expensive. But definitely an option. Definitely an option for sure. I'll say that. Stride feels really good if you want to go like carry mode and just have a bunch of mobility and like agency for playmaking. But yeah, overall I think this is definitely a buff. Nice to see. Gwynsu's Rageblade. I think this is actually a slight buff for on hit, but this item is just weird. You have to like change your whole build. And you have to build like crit items. Like, I've seen some people experimenting with this item, but I haven't really done it myself. Because it just seems, I don't know, it seems weird. I think you could probably get away with builds like this, but similar to Kraken Slayer, you're just not going to be able to team fight, and it's going to be like really inconsistent. So I feel like you're going to need a lead to make builds like this kind of work. But yeah. Serpentis Fang. Serpentis Fang is actually getting another buff. Like, this item just keeps getting buffed. I've tried this item like 2 or 3 times on Urgot, and honestly, I haven't really noticed a difference in terms of like damage on shielding targets. But basically, I guess they're adding like a new passive to it. Hopefully they're not taking away the old passive. I don't think they are, but You're going to reduce any shields they gain now by 50% for melee champs, 25% for range, so that actually seems pretty good, honestly. And lethality is not a bad stat on Urgot. It's just, it leaves you squishier for sure. Like, it feels like one of those items where there's, like, you kind of want to buy it sometimes, but there's other stuff that you need first, you know? That's how I feel with it. But definitely interesting. I mean, I think it has potential if they have just a ton of shields. I want to do it if they don't have a ton of shields. Like, they would have to have, I don't know, like Ivern, Karma, like shielding. If they have like 4 shields or something, I would probably build it maybe. But it would still be later on in the build. Next up, we got Ma. This is really nice to see. I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner, honestly. This should be the equivalent of GA, which is what it is now, 2800. So this is just good to see. I do think this is an option now into like heavy AP team comps. Probably wouldn't buy it otherwise, but yeah, definitely an option. If they have a lot of AP, I don't think it's too bad anymore. 2800 is really cheap. So that's nice to see. It's on the same gold as GA, which is how it definitely should be. Next up, we got the Cleaver, which everyone is pretty pumped for. Definitely a buff in my opinion. 200 gold cost down, super good. A lot of Urgot's items are really expensive, so 200 gold down is actually pretty big. Extra 100 health, that's always nice. Health is amazing on Urgot, scales with your E. Yeah, big fan of health items because I'm really trying to team fight on Urgot and like just live to get a fear off. So health just helps you do that. Really nice to see. This is actually a little bit sad to see. I know this was bugged on Urgot, but I kind of wish they fixed this bug because, I mean, this passive would have been cool, man. It would have been a lot of damage if they actually fixed the bug. But this was bugged on Urgot when you're in your W, so definitely a buff since they're adding in the old movement speed. So dealing physical damage to champion gets 5 movement speed per stack on Carve on them for 2 seconds. So Carve is the shred passive right now. Stacks up to 5 times, so yeah, pretty good. This is flat movement speed, so pretty good synergy with like Stride or like any type of movement speed build, which is pretty nice. But yeah, Cleaver's looking... The thing about Cleaver, so I tested it this morning in Practice Tool. If you build Titanic first or Tiamat first, it still double stacks your Cleaver, but if you don't build Titanic first, it doesn't double stack your Cleaver. So I really wish they would fix that bug, because I was going to try going Cleaver into Stride, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. That's what I was saying about that Iceborne build. You can go Titanic into Cleaver into Frostfire, and that build's like pretty cheap now with Cleaver getting reduced. So you can actually hit your spike pretty early. And this will give you the movement speed, so this might be a replacement for Stride, honestly. And then you can just go into... And then you'll have 100 extra health too for the Frostfire build, which is definitely nice. Because you're going to get 100 from this too, just from it being a legendary item. If you go Frostfire, so... Yeah, that's pretty nice. There was something else I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. That's 11.5 right there, which just came out this morning. This was the 11.6 changes, so this will be next patch. This stuff is still in PvE, so it could still change, but I did want to talk about it a little bit. So basically, Urgot W changes can now enable him to proc Electrocute, Phase Rush, Eclipse, stack Mana Immune. This could make Mana Immune a little bit better. Properly, and Runins plus Ravenous Hydra and W is finally fixed, as well as Sterak's Regen passive is now working. So there's a lot of stuff here, honestly. Phase Rush, I don't think Electrocute is ever going to be an option, honestly. Maybe if you're going for just like burst on a squishy target, maybe it could. I feel like PTA kind of does that though already. I don't know. You probably get more damage through PTA. But yeah, Phase Rush. One of my buddies actually really likes Phase Rush right now, so he's really hype about this buff. Maybe it will be an option into certain matchups, but I guess we'll just have to see, honestly. That could be interesting. Eclipse, I don't think that matters too much. Mana Immune, I don't think that matters too much. Could be interesting, but I feel like both of these items are just risk. Super risky unless you get ahead. The Runins plus Ravenous Hydra. I saw on Reddit Runins works with Titanic. That build looks really funny. I don't think it's going to be super viable or anything because there's a lot of wasted stats. But definitely something to like fun around with maybe. Ravenous Hydra and Sterak's getting fixed. That was really, really nice. Ravenous Hydra is kind of risky too. I do kind of like the item if you have a big lead. But yeah, they did nerf it in your W, so it looks like they're fixing that, which is pretty nice. Sterak's regen is really nice. I'm glad that's getting fixed. Because honestly, that Sterak's didn't feel too bad. Even though it's apparently bugged. I think you're only getting 1 stack of the regen in Sterak's. So getting full stacks is going to be really nice. I think this will actually be a really good late game item if the stacks are working properly. So yeah, pretty interesting changes. Just want to make a quick video on that. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like. Let me know in the comments what you're excited for, what you're going to test, and what I should test as well if you guys want me to test stuff. And yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.